going on, people? It's your boy. Where do I start? Let me start with my team. Awesome. In fact, let me just put this thing on there. Yes, guys, what's going on? It's your boy. Technical centre backs. Yeah. Wanted to give you a quick review of the game that we had on Saturday, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Very interesting game. Let me just try and fix this. This is so hard, like getting the right angle, guys. Bingo! Getting the right angle. But yeah, Arsenal. Very, very interesting game. I thought we played with heart, we played with passion, we played with a little bit of tenacity throughout the squad. Overall, I was pleased with the performance. Individually, I mean, like everyone, you know, I've spoken already. I said on Arsenal Fan TV, and I've said, like, when I've spoken to people, that Torreira was probably man of the match. But you know, I just think the all-round team performance was just amazing. Credit to, you know, Emery, obviously setting up the team. I mean, to start off with, I did think that in terms of our fullbacks, that's where we get exploited. I didn't know whether Kolasinac or Bellerin were fit, so it was quite surprising when I saw the team sheet that they were both fit. I was quite happy, you know, but I was still a bit wary because I wasn't too sure whether they'll be match fit or not. So I'll just go through Twitter quickly. Excuse that noise. That noise is actually my fridge. Cut. I hate that. Hence the reason why I've got a little hip hop background music. Yeah, I mean, I thought like our fullbacks done well and really got forward. We really used our flanks a lot more, and I think that kind of pushed Liverpool back. And I did mention that as well. I think, regardless if we have what fullbacks we use, if we manage to pin them back, Liverpool, back into their own half, that will stop the whole threat of Trent, Alexander-Arnold coming forward, and also Robertson, because we know how deadly they can be. I mean, for me, they're probably one of the strongest fullbacks in the league. Questionably in Europe at the moment in terms of form. But I just thought if we can pin them back, that can stop them from coming against us. And I think, you know, they say the best form of attack is defence. Or the best form of defence is attack, I should say. So I thought we'd done that quite well. I thought we started off the game, we started out of the blocks. Thinking about the press conference, again, I did say this Arsenal Fan TV, but you know, I've got a lot more time now to explain it. But thinking about the press conference, we had people questioning about, or saying that our stats in terms of the way that we start games is our first half is usually the poorest one, and the second half we finish off a lot more stronger. And I feel that we kind of answered our critics on the weekend, and we answered a lot of people, and we came flying out the gates. And I don't think Liverpool could handle us. They were very shocked. I think they were under a lot of pressure. Bearing in mind that we did ride our luck, we did. Alright, cool, I'll give it. We did ride our luck. And I mean, it was Van Dijk versus Van Dijk versus Leno, and the woodwork as well. Van Dijk probably had a few chances. Probably had about 4 chances, clear-cut chances, and maybe on his day he would have put them away. But thankfully for us, he didn't do that. But I just wanted to talk about the goals anyways, first and foremost. Well, nothing special. I mean, my biggest pet hate about, or my biggest thing about Bellerin is that, as much as I love the guy, sometimes he can get on my nerves in terms of positionally in the right place at the right time, and he can get caught out at right back a lot. Now, for me, like, because obviously I'm a defender, so you know I can only go by how I play in that. You know what I mean? When I think about the spectacle of the game, the amount of pressure that you're under, the fact that he's coming back from an injury as well, so much pressure. There's so many factors that can affect your performance. But I think for that particular game, I thought he done quite well. Bearing in mind that you have Mane on your side, on your flank, you're marking Mane. Mane is one of the most feared attacking players. For me, it would be a nightmare to mark against. It would be also a great challenge, you know, because it will definitely lift your game up, but you have to make sure that you're aware throughout the whole game. And I feel that at times Bellerin got caught out. For the goal, I think it was on the left-hand side. No, it was on the right-hand side. Bellerin's side. I think Robertson managed to catch Bellerin out of position, and this is what Bellerin always finds himself in these positions where he's too far forward. And the thing is, as you go forward as a fullback, for me, because usually I play left back, but as you go forward, what can happen is you can exploit, you can open up space behind you. And if your centre back isn't covering over, so if Mustafi isn't covering over properly, it leaves a whole lot of space. And obviously with Mane and his pace, he can exploit that. I feel like for that goal, he did. It was one of the few times that Bellerin got caught out, but when it did, they did capitalise. So I think Robertson put the ball through to Mane. Bellerin was caught in no man's land, and then it was just that moment for me as a centre back. There's a moment where if your fullback gets caught out, you have to make a decision. It's either you go across, so you sweep across to clear the danger, or you'll drop back into the box and try and protect the goal, obviously protect the goalman. But for situations like that, it's very difficult because then you're inviting more pressure. Mane can drive forward more closer to the box and put in a decent ball. And I feel that Mustafi didn't do that. Mustafi didn't come across to maybe see out Mane, probably because he was just scared that he'll get skinned. Because Mane is probably one of the quickest in the Liverpool team, and also out of Arsenal players, he's probably one of the quickest. So I guess he didn't want to get exploited. So what we had was Mane bombing forward towards the byline. Mustafi was dropping back into the box to try and cover that space. I think I saw Holding and Kolasinac as well dropping back as well. Holding's not the fastest. Kolasinac as well. I did question him getting back a bit more quicker into position, but the ball moved so quickly and Mane moved so quickly. As he got to the byline, cut it back. Leno got a little touch on it. Rob Holding was also, I think he was coming in, he was marking Salah. It just flicked onto the bottom of Rob Holding's boot, and of all people to fall to, it falls to James Milner. Now I was happy with the fact that the front three of Liverpool didn't score. You know, Salah, Firmino, and Mane. But I was a bit obviously, if they wasn't going to score, it's going to be someone like Milner or Wanyama that's going to score, or like we said, Van Dijk. But it fell to Milner. I can't lie, Milner took it well, he struck it low and hard, and managed to get ricocheted in. So that was 1-0. The thing that I loved about it was the fact that we didn't drop our heads, and that's something that usually that we do, or that we've done in the past under Wenger, where we drop our heads and we allow the opposition to gain advantage. But I think because we was at home and the fact that we had the 12th man, you know, the stadium, Emirates was absolutely rocking. Like, shout out to all the fans, because I was there and it was, I've been to a lot of games, but the atmosphere, definitely the atmosphere was probably one of the top 5 atmospheres that I've been in at the Emirates. You know what I mean? I've been to a lot of games, or I've seen a lot of games, so I know, but it was just, there was a lot of unity within the stadium. And I just feel at that moment when Liverpool scored, it was against the run of play, but I just think that everyone kind of just looked at each other and was like, you know what, no, we've got this, we can come back from this, because we was playing well. So they scored their goal. I think it was just before the first half. Yeah, I think it was just before the end of the first half. And we went into the second half a bit wishing that we had more time, because we did put Liverpool under a lot of pressure. Like I said, we did ride our chances. Van Dijk did have an excellent one-on-one opportunity. I think, excuse me, God, I don't know why I keep doing this. I think it was a point where it was either a free kick or corner or set piece, and we didn't clear our lines. We didn't get up high enough. Van Dijk was already still up. I think we didn't step up high enough. And what happened is the ball fell to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and what he done is he put in a beautiful ball for Van Dijk. Van Dijk obviously chested it. The guy is quality. I can't lie, he is quality. And you know, you see him on TV, and you know, you hear the pundits talking about him. But for me, he's worth every penny. When you see him do things like that, he does it in the opposite box, attacking wise, very composed. Brought the ball down. It was him against Leno. probably I would have put it in the opposite corner. I would have put it to the right of Leno, where he tried to, I don't know what he was doing. I think it was just kind of a hit and hope, or he was trying to go to the opposite side. But Leno came out quite well, I can't lie. It was that opportunity. There was also the one with the, what was it, the header that came off the post, and obviously the disallowed goal. So we had a few chances. We rode our luck, I can't lie, we did ride our luck. But I just think after that Milner goal, we still managed to put the pressure on. Second half came, and I think that, you know, Emery kind of reinforced that, you know, we're playing well to the players, and they came out again. We just came out guns blazing. It was just a matter of time. Obviously, we had to get a goal disallowed from Lacazette. Questionable whether it was offside or not, but, you know, looking at the replays, it probably looked like it was offside. But where I was sitting, or where I was standing, it was not that. But you could just feel, like, as a fan, you could feel that a goal was coming from us, and it was only a matter of time. And obviously, when Lacazette, I think it's when Emery made the changes and brought on Iwobi, you know, in the past, I've been a bit critic. How can I say? I've criticised Iwobi a bit in the past, but I think this season he's been absolutely tremendous, and he's a very important player for us, important squad player. And I question whether he should have started instead of Mkhitaryan, you know, because Mkhitaryan did have a slow start to the game and slowly got into it. But I think it's down to his confidence, and you can see the difference, like in terms of the contrast of the different players. When Iwobi came on, he was like, literally, I'll get the ball and run with it. Either find a pass, put it into the space, and I thought he'd done that so well. And for the goal, I think Iwobi, he drove into the space, and it was Welbeck and Lacazette that were occupying Van Dijk and Gomez. And for me, look, as a defender as well, because I'm trying to give you like a kind of, not analysis, but look, at the end of the day, look, I'm not the biggest tactician, do you know what I mean? But I'm just trying to talk to you in terms of, if I was in that situation, what would I have done, and what could I have done to maybe prevent it, or, you know, try and explain it in a more defensive way. I think Van Dijk and Gomez were occupied by Welbeck and Lacazette. And what happened was, sometimes you get these smart strikers, what they do is, obviously they run across you, or they'll run across you on the left-hand side of the centre-back, and then you have your partner on the right-hand side. So they'll start off by where you are and run across. By the time you know it, they've already made that bend, they made that run, players put a ball through, and they're onside. So it's always very important that you're very aware of where your strikers are, but also that you communicate. And I think at that split second, or at that moment, Van Dijk didn't communicate to Gomez that he had two men like literally ghosting behind him and in front, or it's more behind him, and that's how they managed to get through. So I think they ran across Van Dijk and behind Gomez. Iwobi timed the ball to perfection, put in a through ball, and obviously Lacazette ran onto it, came back, and look, I mean, really and truly, 9 times out of 10, do you think, nah, you know what, Lacazette will score that. But for most strikers, it's a difficult thing to do. Got the ball, turned with it, didn't even look up. That's what I like about Lacazette. Lacazette is, I call him Laca threat, yeah? Because my man, he will literally carve an opportunity out of the smallest of spaces. He turned on a sixpence and he curled it, he whipped it in. And it was a great finish, like absolutely great finish. World class. I do think this guy is world class, do you know what I mean? And that made it 1-1. I think Van Dijk, you even saw Van Dijk was kind of like, oh my gosh, like how the hell? And sometimes in games like that, you get them strikers that are just, they're so clinical. So it's so important as a defender that you're aware, you know, you're aware of your surroundings, but you also communicate. And I think for that split second, even though Liverpool's back four had a really good game, I think that split second they switched off. And I think it was due to that whole pressure, being under pressure, fatigue. Because I've been there, do you know what I mean? I've been there where you're playing games, you're so tired. Sometimes you can't even get out the words, you know what I mean? Like, you got a man on, there's a man coming on your right hand side. So I think that's where Arsenal, credit to Arsenal for the pressure that we put, because we pressed quite high against Liverpool. and it also showed our fitness levels as well. That more or less we matched them or even surpassed them at times. So that made it 1-1. What can I say? Bellerin, I've already spoken about Bellerin. Kolasinac, I thought, played terrific. Bearing in mind that he came back from injury, I thought he was playing against a unperforming Salah, definitely Mohamed Salah. Excuse me, but you know, what I mean, he used his strengths against Salah, and I think that was obviously his aggression, his strength. Also, he anticipated a lot of balls, and he got up touch tight to them. And you know, as a left back or again as a full back, it's very important that when you're playing against a winger, you let them know that you're there, whether that be a challenge, whether you like grab hold of their shirt, anything, just to make sure that you let them know like this isn't going to be an easy game. And I think from the start, Kolasinac got up and close to Salah, didn't give him any space and time. Obviously, as the game progressed, what they tried to do is Salah kind of moved more infield towards where Rob Holding was, in between that space, and he kind of gave Rob Holding a more harder game, and Salah kind of exploited Rob Holding's speed. I think there was one point where he pulled Rob Holding out of centre back position, got him on the wings, and just like touched it, 1-2 touch past Rob Holding, and it was like through on goal. But credit to Xhaka, and I'm telling you, Xhaka. Like, I mean, bearing in mind Xhaka gave away a penalty against Crystal Palace the other week. You know, he's bombing back. Salah's through on goal now. And again, like I said, it was underperforming Salah. It wasn't the Salah that we've seen from last season, because I think if that was the case, he would have gone on and either scored or, you know, made an assist. But thankfully for us, Xhaka actually got back and made a quality challenge. And the thing is, as a defender, there's times in the game where you're not going to be able to defend. You're going to be pulled out of position. And being a good defender or having a good defence is not just in the back four, it's throughout the whole team. And it's moments like that as a defender, when you see that shit, you're like, nah, I feel you. Xhaka, I feel you. For that tackle, I feel you. Because those tackles aren't easy. You have to make sure that you get it, you time it well, and then you get enough of the ball. Because you see it, you saw what Zaha done. You saw what Zaha done the other week. Do you know what I mean? Any slightest of touch, you're going down. So quality challenge from Xhaka. I thought both him and Torreira were like absolutely phenomenal. Anytime that Kolasinac or Bellerin pushed forward, Torreira or Xhaka would cover the space, and that's all you ask. Do you know what I mean? You ask that they have that awareness. And again, credit to Emery, because he's coached them to the point that if one goes forward, another one will drop, like a midfielder will drop into that space to stop Liverpool from hitting us on the counter. Because that's what Liverpool are known for, you know. That's what Liverpool are good for. So I thought those two were phenomenal. Obviously, Mustafi I've always questioned, but I thought Mustafi had a fantastic game. Again, anticipated the balls very well. A lot of good clearances. I'm not that kind of guy. Like some of the clearances that he makes, I'm not that kind of guy that does it. Do you know what I mean? I'm more of a Van Dijk, you know, put your foot on the ball, compose or whatever. But you see Mustafi, what I like about him is he'll make those clearances when the ball's like on a half bounce. He'll slide in and it will just clear it out. Shit like that. I love that. And you need that. It's nice to have that balance. You know, when you have like one centre back that's composing the ball and then the other one that's just like a no nonsense, get it out. Rosed. So I thought Mustafi played well. Positionally, he was very well. Apart from the goal, which we already spoke about, won a few headers as well, and he made a lot of good clearances. I thought Rob Holding again. This guy is like been probably one of our best players so far this season. He's very consistent. Again, he had another fantastic game. The only thing that I'll question is that he got caught out a few times, you know, but that's when he stepped out and they tried to isolate him, or Liverpool tried to isolate him, and they used the speed to get around him. Apart from that, in terms of his composure, in terms of his position, he was always there to cover the space when Liverpool were hitting us on a counter or on the break. So I was really impressed with them. Like I said, I've already spoken about the two midfielders. Lacazette, I love the guy. I actually love him, and I think I've mentioned him in my interviews before about why I like him more than Aubameyang, because for me Lacazette is more of a complete and all-rounded forward, where even though he's short, his hold-up play is like second to none, and he manages to link up with players. You know, he has these little deft touches that he does. He'll get it, he'll give it, he'll spin off, and he's into the space. Whereas I feel like Aubameyang, he's more of a I'll run at you, you know, more of a Thierry Henry, use his speed and run at you and get past you. But Lacazette's got that. He's got that better link-up play. Now, I'm not saying that Aubameyang will never reach that level. I think he will, and he's got the potential to do that. But I just think at the moment, Lacazette just has that all-round, you know what I mean? And his finishing is like on point. So, Aubameyang, I think he was a bit... Still hasn't found his feet completely, but he's definitely worrying a lot of defenders. And I think he gave Trent Alexander-Arnold Gomez, he gave him a run around as well, which was good. Who else played well? Ozil, his work rate, you know, tracking back. These players were tracking back. I'd never seen a performance like that against such, you know, a top 16 like that. It was absolutely phenomenal. Like to see Ozil running back, you know, tracking back, holding up the ball, you know, protecting the ball. Usually he'll get brushed aside, and then, you know, he does that whole hand in the air. None of that. Ozil was on point, so I was really, really pleased with that. Who else stood out for me? I'm trying to think. I think that's it, you know. I just think that's it. It was just a great game to watch. Obviously, we're not going to get carried. I'm not getting carried away. Yes, we're 14 games unbeaten. I did mention it, but you know, and we've had a lot of tests, you know, and we've come up trumps. You know what I mean? We've done well because, like I said, season before and many seasons before that, we come up against teams like Crystal Palace, teams like Everton, and we'll lose. You know, teams like Watford. You know, we'll drop points, but you know, the momentum is there and we're doing well. We're very confident, and you know, it's down to the new manager coming in. It's also down to the players, you know, stepping up their game. So I'm just happy. As a fan, I'm happy. And even though if we had lost, sorry guys, I haven't got cut off anything. I haven't got much time because the camera's doing bits. But I just think even if we had lost the game, I still think that the way that we performed, you know, the fans, everyone in that stadium would have been proud of the performance. But I'm just happy that we got a point against Liverpool for now. Do you know what I mean? Because last season, these type of games we would have lost, or we would have dropped points, or you know, we wouldn't have performed like how we done last season. So I'm happy with that. Obviously now we've got our next game on Thursday, so we need to pick ourselves up and we go again. It's just, guys, it's just refreshing. It's refreshing to see it, you know, especially after the last season that we had. You know, everyone was pretty down. To see how all the fans are united, everyone's coming together, it's a beautiful thing, and hopefully it's here to stay. That kind of feeling is here to stay. What else was I gonna say? Obviously, happy birthday to Unai Emery, or happy belated. Same to Ian Wright as well. It's just, I'm just going through Twitter now, innit, guys? So hopefully I'll put some pictures up in the meantime. But if you have any questions, any comments or anything like that, please feel free to leave it. Like, I do appreciate obviously the subscribers that I've got. You know, I'm sorry I haven't been putting out enough stuff, but you know, I'll try my best to put out more. It's a bit annoying, but all in all, it's a decent result. I'm happy, and we move on to the next one, guys. But yeah, it's your boy Quams. Hopefully I have like a little, I made a little banner actually. Watch this. Check this out. So hopefully that'll feature in the next video. Jeez. How do I flip this? That's it. Yeah. Jeez. So yeah, this will feature in the next one. For those who don't know, I go by the name of Quams, aka Technical Centre Backs. Yeah, hence the reason that's the hashtag. So when I'm using my Instagram or whatever, I always use that hashtag. So that's why. I know people always just try and flip in like TCBCK. Usually mention it like that, but yeah. Obviously, hopefully that'll be up in the background. Put it up in the background for the next couple of videos or for the future. Put some people in. Obviously not here, my personal space, but yeah, we'll do that. But Guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I need to edit this shit. I need to get it out. We'll leave it for now. And I'll do some more tomorrow maybe. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But for now guys, I'm gone. So, peace.